That was terrible.
That was crap. That was garbage. This place sucks.
Overreaction
Monday.
Okay.
All right, pro days are over.
Yes.
We're
Let's
3.5 weeks from the draft, so not a lot of NFL in today's overreaction.
Smoke season.
We're in kind of a little dead period, lion season now for a couple weeks. But
You say lion season?
Lion.
Lion.
Something?
L-Y-I-N.
Yeah.
Ask us how we're doing. Is that?
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? You guys
Hey,
good?
I'm good, but I like how you said
Monday?
it's the smoke screen season. I like how you said the lying season. I like that. The smoke screen.
I know. People, look, I'm sorry. I get so excited. Kirk's here. He's never done this before.
I
got so excited. I almost forgot to ask you guys how you're doing. I know the YouTube people, man, they get so mad when I don't.
You can't forget, man.
Fella, you good?
Hey, I'm good.
You all right? Everybody
I'm
good?
good.
Everybody good? All right, good. Kirk,
Yes, sir.
not one,
Not one?
but two teams are going to trade up and draft a QB in the top 10 in the NFL draft.
Oh, that.
Now, look, Kirk,
Yeah.
I say something, and you
Yeah.
say overreaction. Explain why. No. Reasonable reaction. Explain why. That's the rules.
That is a reasonable reaction. I think reasonable. I'm not going to overreact, but I think it's a reasonable reaction because we've seen a couple of teams try to make a couple moves, right? More so the Minnesota Vikings that made that trade to get around. Now they have 2 first-round picks.
Yep.
And I think, look, there's some other teams who are in that, what is it, the 8 through 12 range. And so picks 8, Atlanta, Chicago, New York, the Vikings I just mentioned at 11, Denver Broncos, and in Las Vegas
Even
Raiders.
Raiders at 13, right?
And Raiders at 13. So 8 through 13, they're the teams I'm looking at more so 11, 12, 13 will just jump up a couple spots. I think it's a reasonable reaction because they're
the Giants at 6. Maybe they move up a little bit.
I'm just telling you,
They
man.
can move up to 3.
I think we're looking at the quarterbacks and the success that CJ Stroud had. I think some of these teams are a couple players away. The NFL is so different because before you would say, man, we've got to build this thing up. We're a couple years away from competing. What CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans and the Houston Texans did, that team was awful the year before. Awful. And we thought that there's no way that the Texans would be what they were. They were a playoff team. They won a division. They won a playoff game. Teams are saying, you know what? If we build around it, we should be able to do that. I would not be surprised. That's why I think it's a reasonable reaction.
Okay. Nice. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about UFL is back.
Yeah.
When I say Michigan,
I can't wait, baby.
When I say Michigan Panthers, what do you think of? I think of Jake Bates, 64-yarder to win yesterday. Not even the longest field goal in Ford Field's history, though.
Yeah.
Of course, that belongs to Justin Tucker, who set the NFL record a few years ago. But an NFL team needs to sign Jake Bates immediately after his 64-yard UFL debut.
You know what? So this is not a, I don't know. Is it an overreaction or a reasonable reaction? I'm trying to figure out. I would go overreaction. A team doesn't need to sign him, but man, he's on some teams' radar because is he going to be the next Brandon Aubrey for the Dallas Cowboys? Could he be? But let's think about the story of Jake Bates. He did not kick field goals. He hasn't kicked a field goal since high school. This is something totally different. This was his first time kicking in a game and kicked a 64-yarder. This is huge, man. Like I said, I'm excited because I got a UFL game coming up this weekend. I've got
Michigan Panthers?
No, San Antonio Brahmas. Okay. I got the Brahmas versus the Memphis Showboats. Wade Phillips versus John DeFilippo. So I'm excited about what the UFL has presented. But this 64-yard field goal, remember, he kicked 2 of them, though. He kicked 2 field goals. The first one he actually kicked after the timeout was called by the St. Louis Battlehawks. So they tried to ice him. They tried to ice him, and it was like, oh, he made it. He made so it was like, oh, after he did that, it was pretty easy. Just do the same thing, the same repetition.
Do that thing again.
Yeah. And I think because maybe this is his first time kind of doing this, and it's just like, hey, man, what the heck? I don't care. Just go out and kick it, where usually some other guys, we've seen some kickers who were just scared in the NFL. You just knew. Their whole demeanor, there was too much swagger to Jack Bates this weekend. Too much swagger.
Jack Bates, great name, too.
Yes.
Let's go. Get him in the NFL.
Jake Bates. I say Jake. I say Jake. Jake.
Also cool
Jake
too.
Bates.
Jake, whatever.
Jake Bates.
All right, let's talk a little NBA. Dallas is on fire, guys. Behind Luka and Kyrie.
Okay.
The Mavs are going to the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, no. That's an overreaction. Stop it. Stop it. Don't do that.
Going to the Western Conference Finals.
No.
Hot.
It's hot.
They are hot.
They are still in the play-in. Right? Like, are they seventh or they did go to sixth?
Fifth.
Oh, they jumped to fifth.
Disrespect
Oh my God.
is real.
It is real. Oh, you know what? I did see
fifth.
Malik Monk out for the Kings
By the way,
4 to 6 weeks. I did see
TJ,
that. See,
be honest. You
Yeah.
know the Clippers are falling. Mavericks are going to be 5.
Yeah.
Mavericks are going to be 4 by the time playoffs
No
hit.
way. Clippers are staying at 4.
Come on. And we know Luka owns the Clippers, so
Yeah, Luka individually scores a lot, but when it
Come
comes
on
to
now.
the wins and losses, the Clippers win. Luka will put up 50 a game.
Yeah.
They're still going to lose.
Mavs, West
this
Finals.
is an overreaction. Like, look, we love Luka, and Luka is putting up some MVP type numbers and leading his team and getting them higher up in the rankings or in the standings, I should say. But we all know it comes down to the playoffs, and that team did not look good last year in the playoffs. And you have Kyrie Irving and Luka. Who is going to be the guy this time that says, well, Kyrie fall back and just say, you know what, this is Luka. Luka's still, he's the guy now. Or will it be in reverse? That's what it was last year. Can it be different this year? I'm going to overreact and say the finals. No, I can't put them in the Western Conference Finals. I think they're a second round exit. They're a good team, but put them in the Western Conference Final. I mean, obviously Denver is going to be there, and you're telling me outside of there, are they better than Minnesota? Are they better than?
Ooh, I trust them more than
trust-
Minnesota.
Ooh.
Yeah, come on now.
Man, Anthony Edwards is ready to take some people's hearts, man.
Yeah,
Like,
but with the Big Cat not being in the game, Carl Anthony
it don't matter, Anthony.
It kind of matters for the T-Wolves. So I don't know if they're
I'm
better
just
than
saying,
Dallas.
man. I don't know. There's something about that dynamic that I'm overreacted. I can't put them in the finals, Western Conference Finals.
All right, TJ, this one's for you. There's no point in Embiid coming back this year. Like, what are we talking about? I saw a report that his return is imminent. For what? So they can lose in the play-in game?
Well, if Joel Embiid's playing, they're not losing the play-in game.
I don't know that.
You do know.
You know that?
But come on, bro.
Come on.
The
Come on,
man
bro.
was
The
the
man
most
hasn't
valuable.
played in months.
That's fine. The man was MVP of the league until somebody landed on his leg and ended his
Boy,
season
get out of the
prematurely.
way.
Well, he was on the ground, so I don't know how he got away when he's already laying down. Chris, that's a good question because I've thought about this. It's like, is it worth him coming back?
Yeah.
What's the point?
I don't know, but I know if he does come back, he gets at least a week or two to get in shape. We're not losing the playing game with Joel Embiid. So
I know you're playing the Heat. As of right now. You're defending
Playoff
as much as it
Jimmy.
hates me to say,
Yeah.
you're defending Eastern Conference champions.
Yeah, we got a little problem with those Heat boys.
Yeah. Especially, we already know Hemi Butler.
Yeah, and Jimmy, you know how he
It's
feels.
Hemi
He st-
Butler in
he
the
still
playoffs.
Should be a Sixer, you know.
Tobias Harris? Really?
Over me?
Tobias Harris over me?
But look, man, if the big dog's in there, I like our chances to win at least the play-in. I don't know about a full series. But yeah, let's bring him back. Let's see what happens. Let's roll with it. He was, like I said, the dude was the MVP of the league until he went down, Kirk, in my opinion.
Well, let's blame the NBA for saying he's got to play 65 games. You know what I mean? Like, he should have been on a minutes restriction, but because we're all about the
We're gonna play
reward.
30 games this year?
Not 30
Come on
games,
now.
but, I would definitely have him limit his minutes, probably limit a couple of games here because the NBA season is already too long, and you're seeing a guy like Embiid needs rest. Right, there's other
17
players.
games is enough rest.
No, I'm saying like throughout the season, though, there should be a better plan for him because there's more wear and tear on a guy that size. You know what I mean? Like,
270,
we ain't talking
280.
about Anthony Edwards, right? We ain't talking about Shai Gilgeous, Alex. Those dudes can play 65 to 70 games. That's just what they do. But Joel Embiid going up and down the court that many, you want him to be available for the playoffs. And he probably won't be available for the playoffs. Everybody's body is built differently. Like Shaq, same thing. Shaq definitely needed just, hey, get him ready for the playoffs. But you're going to play him in the marquee games. You're going to play him the majority of the season. But that 65 threshold is probably what's going to hurt Joel Embiid.
All right, Kirk, we're going to talk a little baseball, and you're going to do your 2 minutes after this next segment. But this pains me. Bronx Bombers 4-0. Juan Soto going to win AL MVP, and Yankees back in the World Series.
That is not an overreaction. That's a reasonable reaction. I won't say, the Juan Soto part, because all you got to do is just you got to hit 30 home runs as a Yankee. You're already in the MVP conversation. Like, let's just be honest.
He's got that short porch. He should hit 45.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, look,
He's a 1-year rental.
He's a 1-year rental, but he's also in New York, who are all just glamoring for new stars, new guys. And Juan Soto is not a new star, but he's now your star in New York. So I see him, yes, as being a big-time MVP candidate. Now, the Yankees going to the World Series, I don't know. It always seems to. Are they better than the Orioles this year? We would talk about that. Who are the division reigning division champions of the AL East? But it's good to see that, had a good weekend.
Yep.
The Yankees. I don't know about World Series just yet. It always seems
early MVP favorite in the AL
Who
for the betting.
didn't have a good weekend?
Meet the Mets.
Might as well cancel baseball as far as I'm concerned.
Cancel the
3 games in, just cancel the season.
Man, you guys are so bad. Sorry, TJ. All right, a couple college hoops now. Let's do it. DJ Byrne, Zach Edey, big man matchup. We all deserve. Let's go.
Is that what's the question, though?
What's the question?
No
So we all
I
deserve?
just made a statement.
Is it?
Don't we deserve this?
I agree with you, yes.
Well, then it's not an overreaction.
No, it's not an overreaction.
You know how to play the game.
It's not an overreaction.
No, it's reasonable reaction. I think because this may be the last time that we see it, because the big men, they don't play that style of basketball outside of college. Like putting Edey in a pick and roll with Jokic, like that's nasty work. Like
Edey versus Wemby next year.
Come on, man. Wemby going right by that dude, man. Like,
Is he?
I mean, the NBA is about perimeter shooting. It's about stretching the floor. We don't see these types of players work in the NBA anymore. This isn't the 80s and 90s where you had, or early 2000s where you had somebody. I saw a meme the other day, and it was like a tent that was put up, and it was in the middle of the key, and it had Edey on it, because that's what he just camps out in the middle of the paint. So that everybody's talking about he doesn't get the 3-second call, right? I mean, 3 seconds in the key.
Oh, right. He's just standing there.
He's just standing there for like 10 seconds on the shot clock. Everybody's like, 3 seconds, 3 seconds.
I saw people complaining
So
about
people are
that.
complaining about that. In the NBA, are you allowed to do that? No, because guys are going to spread you out. The guy who you can't slump back, that's called illegal defense. You got to be on your guy. So yes, that's no illegal defense in college. So it's a reasonable reaction, because we're going to see something that you won't see in the NBA. So let's sit back and enjoy it. 2 guys in the middle of the paint going at it, because after it's over, you won't see it. Not in the NBA.
I gotta say, man, I had obviously heard this dude's name, but I was just unfamiliar about how actually dominant he was. He's averaging 30 and 16 in the postseason in the NCAA tournament right now.
Yeah, it's
25 and 12 on the year.
Well,
62% shooting.
He's 7'4" though, man.
He's Canadian. He's super nice.
He's
I love
7'4". We don't give guys who are 7'4" credit, right? I think, look, Wemby is doing it at all. Like, Wemby is. I know the Spurs are not a good basketball team, but we're watching Victor Wembanyama each and every day put up points. He's filling the stat sheet, triple doubles.
These guys
almost.
better get their MVPs now. Wemby's about to win like 8 in a row.
He is just. I mean, he's fun to watch. They got to get a better team around him. That's the one thing.
That'll
but
come.
he is.
Or he's going to demand a trade to the Knicks.
One of the best players that we've seen in a very, very long time. But for to be that height, his game is totally different than Zach Edey's,
He's
right?
like a
or DJ
6'2"
Burns.
guy trapped in a 7'4" body.
And they said his brother could be on the verge too. Wembanyama.
Like 14 or 16.
Yeah,
He's
but-
like 6'8" already. Yeah.
He already said he a freshman. He coming. He ready.
Chris, I saw, you and I, we look at Tankathon a lot for mock drafts. They have Edey getting drafted by the Spurs in the second round. So you can
We going
imagine.
Twin Towers?
Hey,
Twin
let's bring it
Towers.
back. The Twin
Okay.
Towers. I love the big man era coming back.
What's that? Like Duncan and Robinson again?
Yeah, let's do it.
Reemerged.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.